How long have I been out? How did I get here? Oh yeah, I was trying to think of ideas for my stupid YouTube channel. I'm sick of doing this shit everyone else is doing. Who gives a fuck about reviewing video games? It's 2020, and my passion for gaming died a long time ago. I've got to come up with something better. I've got to get back to my roots, to the only thing I know how to do. But where the hell do I start? Oh no, not you again. Wait. This is perfect. This is what I've been needing. This is what I'm destined to do. This is gonna be the greatest idea I've ever had. When it comes to hack and slashes, there's really only two games anyone ever talks about. The first being God of War, you know, the one back before he became Dad Kratos, when he was a man too angry to die. Zeus! And the second being Devil May Cry, which I never played up until a few months ago, where I 100%ed the first game. And let's just say, I never want to fight the last boss ever again. But even though it was difficult as hell, and I had to play it 3 times, and it possibly gave me PTSD, it was pretty much a masterpiece. Excellent enemy and level design completely carried the game through its god-awful writing.
I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light!
Devil May Cry 1, of course, was a huge success, so naturally anything that's a huge success needs a sequel, because you can't just end a series. That would be insane. And with any beloved series, there's usually what is considered the bad one. But even though everyone knows it's not up to the same quality as other games in its series, there's still people willing to defend them. Sure, it's not as good, but that doesn't mean it's bad, right? Basically, even though Dark Souls 2 sucks, there's still people willing to defend it. Sad and demented people, but still people. But the thing with Devil May Cry 2 is, nobody likes this fucking game. Talking about it makes people want to curl up and die. You look up any guide on playing through this series, all you'll see is people saying, oh please God, whatever you do, don't play DMC 2. Basically, Devil May Cry 2 changes it, man. But sadly I don't have a choice. I'm locked into the whole series now, I can't just skip it. Also I came up with this stupid idea for a YouTube channel, so now I have to spend more time with this game than any sane person would, because in case you didn't know, there's a big difference between finishing a game and completing one. Oh no, I can't just play Devil May Cry 2, I gotta play it till my eyes fucking bleed. Maybe everyone is just overreacting. Maybe the game will be alright. It is 17 years old, so maybe it ages like fine wine. Or maybe it ages like milk. Whatever, let's just get this over with. Oh God, why? Why? Okay. So apparently, it's not as hard as the first game, but I have to play it 6 times. Let's do this. So it turns out Devil May Cry 2 comes with 2 discs for 2 separate characters, Dante and Lucia. I'm guessing they did this because Resident Evil did it, which is made by the same people, so you know what? I've played as Dante before, why not start as Lucia? What could possibly go wrong?
In a time long since past, in an age of darkness, when the earth was overrun with demons.
Well, of course the game starts with a very generic voiceover, but I wasn't expecting the story to be good anyway. Oh shit, it's our guy, he's here! Yeah, fuck him up! Man, I hope she's just as cool.
Till next time, son of Sparta.
Oh no, she sucks. So the first thing you're gonna notice when you start the game is just how ugly it looks, which is consistent throughout the entire thing. Textures just look unfinished and like they slapped them on last minute. There's pretty much no color either. Everything looks rushed and copy and pasted, which is real bad when you compare it to the first game, which looked great. I think all the HD did really was just show how bad the game looks. The beginning of this game is so weird. This is the first thing you're greeted with. You're jumping around this bland open area with no music, and you go up to this door that asks you to get 45 orbs, and then it hurts you with no warning. This is embarrassing when you compare it to the opening of the first game. There was this long, dramatic walk up the path, and then you see this big evil castle, and you realize, man, shit is about to go down. It set the tone for the whole game. Here it looks like I'm in one of those countries that no one knows exists. Like Togo. Yeah, I remember my first time in Phase Zhao. If you type in Togo in Google, the first thing that comes up is a movie with Willem Dafoe and a dog. Shouldn't the fucking country be first? Anyway, you're also gonna notice that the camera is real bad. Much like the first game, it's got that Resident Evil camera which changes depending on where you move, but unlike those games, it feels pretty awful in DMC2. You see, that type of camera only really works when the areas you're navigating are small. The problem with this area is that it's way too big and you can jump up and down it. So this is the first area of the game and I already have about 7 problems with it. Not a good start, but it could get better. So you get out the first area and you finally find something to fight, and the combat pretty much functions exactly the way it did in the first game. You can swing your melee weapon with triangle, and delaying presses allows you to use different combos, and pressing square allows you to shoot, except Lucia uses knives, which to be honest aren't as fast or as cool as guns. And somehow, it's worse than the first game. It doesn't feel anywhere near as satisfying. It's missing the weight and the sound the original had. Here, with the smaller enemies, it feels like you're hitting nothing, and with bigger enemies, it feels like hitting a brick wall. So unlike the other problems this game has, this is by far the worst one, because 90% of the game is combat, and I have to play it 6 times. But with good enemy design, maybe it won't matter that much. Here's our first special enemy of the game.
Well, that was easy.
Once again, all the different types of orbs and the secret missions are here, and yes, you have to do it all. And yes, the orbs all still look like the behemoth from Berserk. Thankfully, they are actually useful, unlike a lot of other games with collectibles. Blue orbs are what increase your maximum life, and if this is anything like the first game, trust me, you're gonna want them all. Devil Trigger is also back, which makes you much more powerful for a short period of time, except DMC2 tries to expand on it by introducing— oh my God, why is the menu so hideous? Did you put it together in Windows Movie Maker? Did you guys put any effort into how this game looks at all? Even the enemy nameplates look bad. Anyway, you collect pieces of this amulet that'll allow you to give your Devil Trigger different properties, such as being able to fly. I mean, it's not a bad idea, it could add quite a bit of depth to the gameplay if done right. Oh shit, it's the first boss. Okay, now we get to see what the game's really made of. Okay, I think I get it now. I think I see what everyone was talking about. Do you want to know how to beat Devil May Cry 2? The game requires you to press one button because the enemy design is fucking terrible. This boss is so slow, and all of its attacks are easily dodged. Sometimes when he swings at you with his arm, it will just go right over your head. This is embarrassing when you compare it to the first boss of Devil May Cry 1. You Devil Trigger and you win. That's it. And if you think the story's any better, I'm sorry, because it's somehow even worse than the first game. I don't even think that was possible. So you and Dante meet this totally not evil old woman who carries around a totally not evil staff, and she basically explains that a guy named Mathieu is the owner of a large business and he unleashes demons everywhere. And in order to, I guess, become more powerful, he has to gather these 3 artifacts which you have to go get before he does. That's about as much sense I could make out of it anyway, there isn't really much going on. So you'll continue walking through this awful looking town that looks like it was put together in a week, and here's about where you'll really start to dread the rest of this game. Combat starts becoming real mind-numbing, and you'll also see that Devil May Cry 2's idea of difficulty is just to throw lots of enemies at the player. The issue is that it doesn't make the game harder, it just makes it take longer, so pretty much any chance you get, you should just run past them. What the hell is that? Check out this water, it's literally one texture that moves up and down. How did this make it through? I remember the sea. Flat as the ground she was. Eventually you'll get to this barren wasteland of a city area, and I think it highlights one of the biggest issues with the level design in this game. There is just so much space and it takes you forever to walk anywhere. The first game had tightly packed areas so that there was never too much downtime and the areas weren't predictable. You never really knew what was around the next corner. I know what's around the next corner in this game. Fucking nothing! Wait. Is that a tank?
So you got a tank. Big whoop. Want to fight about it?
This is such an odd enemy. It's like they took some pre-existing model of a tank and just retextured it. Honestly, a lot of the stuff in this game feels like it was just taken from something else. This city looks like some custom map from Half-Life 1 where they copy and pasted the same building a bunch of times. This tank is embarrassing too. If you just sit under the thing, it literally can't hit you, and even when it can, it pretty much misses every time. How do you fuck that up? If you sit on top of it for too long, the machine gun will start shooting at you, but that can't hit you if you just stay on the ground. Hang on a minute, I gotta take a break here. I'm so baffled by some of the decisions here that I can't even process it. Like, I've played a lot worse than this, but I don't feel anything. But I must press on. Much like the first game, there are weapons, both melee and ranged, that you can find throughout the levels. In the first game, these were all really useful, as some enemies were much easier to take down with certain weapons. But here, because the enemy design is incomprehensibly bad, you should just go with whichever one does the most damage. I guess one improvement the game makes is that you can now swap weapons with the left trigger rather than having to pause. When you get to this hangar, you're going to want to find these cranky bombs. Trust me, you'll need them. Another awful thing about this game is that the lock-on will drive you insane. I don't know what the hell happened, but for some reason if there's an enemy aggroed on you from anywhere, you'll lock onto it. If there are multiple enemies quite close to each other, 9 times out of 10 you'll lock on to the wrong person. For example, here, there's this thing, if you keep hitting it, it will grant you more red orbs each time, but because I'm locked onto another enemy in another area, I keep swinging in the wrong direction like an idiot. So I go and kill the enemy and oh, that's great, the red orb thing is gone. Now you can actually turn lock-on off by holding the right trigger, but I didn't find that out until much later on due to there being no controller layout in the game. But even with that, holding down right trigger and manually moving yourself and attacking feels pretty uncomfortable. Oh shit, here comes trouble! It's the main villain who is comically bad, and the inside of his helicopter looks like it's missing textures. Phenomenal.
Well, it appears that the defect is back.
Defect?
You are my creation.
Liar! Mathieu is my mother.
She merely found you when you were about to be disposed of, and then raised you as a soldier.
What's happening? What is this? What's happening? Is this real life? What am I supposed to be following here? I don't know who my character is. I don't know what's going on. How do you fuck up this badly? This is like if you watched the first 10 minutes of A New Hope and then skip to the end of Return of the Jedi. It'd make less sense than the new movies do. I'm not even going to bother explaining what any of this is. I'm just going to move on. So here's where you get teleported to this moth boss, which just takes fucking forever. Mostly thanks to the worms that swallow you. The moth itself isn't a problem at all, you just shoot it when it comes down. The problem is after it dies you have to clear out the remaining worms, but if they swallow you, you'll burst out and instantly kill them. Too bad that doesn't count, and if you do that, another will just spawn, meaning you have to kill them manually, which takes forever. So don't get swallowed or you'll have to do it all over again. Fuck, 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 fuck!
I don't want to play anymore.
If there's one thing this game has in common with its predecessor is that finding the secret missions still makes me want to die. Most of the time you have to walk up to a random part of the environment and press circle. There is no indicator or hints or anything. For example, look at this. If I press circle on this dark entrance, nothing happens. But it turns out you have to go to the very end of it and press circle. Then it works. The fuck am I supposed to know that? What? Oh no, not an underwater section. As I expected, the underwater section sucks. Not only does it make you pretty much useless in a fight, but they also added the weird wave effect on screen that'll make you want to throw up. I don't feel so good. As long as there isn't much underwater combat, I should be okay. This fish fight is the worst thing ever. Melee is out of the question as it's way too slow to hit anything, so you'd naturally think to use the ranged weapon. Problem is, this son of a bitch turns invisible, so you can't lock onto him. Not only this, but the camera is so bad that it makes manually aiming at him mostly impossible, because for the most part he's off screen. So fuck the stupid crossbow, here's what you do. Remember those cranky bombs? Swim up to the top of the arena and just spam them. Hooray! Well, hey, are there at least any puzzles? Why, yes there is. Well, are they any good? What the fuck do you think? Look at this puzzle. All you have to do is destroy the orbs as they appear. There's no strategy or time limit. That's it. Hooray! Oh look, they already recycled the boss. How amazing. I wonder if he's any more difficult. Oh look, he's dead. Aha! Here he is, the main bad guy. Surely he out of all people will give me something.
You lose, Kai.
Well, I think I'm about ready to tap out. I do like the little detail where he sits down and drinks during the fight though.
A little bit of the bubbly.
He also does that bullshit thing where he wins in the cutscene, but I don't care enough to be mad about it. Well, the next mission, you're just running around the same map as before, finding these things so you can progress. You're running around checking the doors because you can't tell what's a part of the background and what's not. Basically, there's no way this game can win me over now. Oh my god, it's Phantom! That's the thing from the first game. You know, the one that was actually a video game. He's pretty similar to the first game's Phantom as well, except here he's pathetically easy. Well, I've got to give it to him. This is the first fight so far that actually feels like a fight. You still just press the shoot button, but at least it has varying attacks that you have to dodge. I'm not sure what's even going on though. What is this thing? It feels like I'm fighting a Tool album. No, I mean like a good Tool album. Oh, shut up, you know I'm right.
You defeated Arius. There's just one thing left. Kill me. kill me and everything will be over. I thought I was a descendant of the clan that protects Marly. The one...
Oh shit, final boss. Always dead.
What a surprise, it was underwhelming. Oh, wait, this is his true form. Of course that was too easy. Oh no, he's dead again. This final boss just moves back and forth, so all you have to do is stay away from it and shoot, and whenever it gets too close, you move again. Amazing.
Both sides are heads.
Heads, I go. Tails, you go.
Did you just flash back to 5 minutes ago? How stupid do you think I am?
I don't know. Pretty stupid.
Oh, that's it. I beat the game. I don't know what I just played. I feel completely hollow. How long was that? 2 hours? Usually when you play a bad game, you say, well, that sucked, and move on with the rest of your day, but it doesn't feel like I played anything. It feels like 2 hours of my life are just gone. Usually you feel upset or cheated, but I feel nothing. I'm so astonished by how bad it was that I have to look this up, because there's no way this was made by real people. Well, I was right. Our old friend's back. So basically the game was a complete fucking disaster and they had to bring in a new director to save it. But instead of Capcom cancelling the game or letting them start over, they basically walked in and said,
"You got 4 months, you fucking moan."
And so here we are. And the funniest part about all of this is it still got away with a 7 out of 10 from IGN. Something they still do today. What's not so funny though is that I have to play it 4 more fucking times. So I'll try not to fall asleep and get this shit done. Of course Dante's campaign is next and this one's 5 levels longer, but don't worry, I'm not gonna go through all 4 of these playthroughs or we'll be here all day. Also because it's literally the exact same set of levels, just in a different order.
You see, in order to make the game longer than 2 hours, they made a second campaign and just reused everything. But unlike Resident Evil that uses it to its advantage, DMC2 did it because it's an easy way to pad out the game. I'm not sure if I should be mad about this, considering nowadays developers wouldn't even do that. Dante feels slightly better to play than Lucia, but it's still miles off DMC2. Most of his original attacks are back, and guns are much cooler to use than knives, and his devil trigger lets him shoot lightning. But overall, you're still just pressing one button. The levels are still ugly, the enemies are still shit, and the water still looks funny. I remember the sea. The waves crash together like 2 quickly placed 2-dimensional objects. There's this funny part where you slide down a pipe. There's a part where you fight a skyscraper.
Don't be racist. I am a building.
The only thing worth mentioning in Dante's entire campaign is the part where you get chased across the rooftops by a helicopter. Sure, it's hilarious because it doesn't feel like Devil May Cry at all, but there's a part where you have to quickly scale the inside of a building while the fire slowly rises. It's not like it's never been done before, but it's the only time in this entire game where I felt a little bit of tension. This is quickly dashed though when the boss is yet another... you guessed it. At the end of it all, your thumb is probably going to need to be reattached while you sit there and wonder if achievement hunting has gone too far. There is a difference with this campaign though, and that's that I'm allowed to upgrade my arsenal. I've not avoided talking about the progression system this far on purpose. It's that I have no reason to talk about it. This game is easy as shit, and making your weapons do a little bit more damage doesn't really mean anything.
But of course this show isn't called Play Games for Fun, so I'm gonna have to fully upgrade my character. And what do you think the chances are of me being able to do this in one playthrough are? Do you think I'm not gonna have to grind for this? Well, obviously I do. It couldn't have been that easy. What, have you watched this show? What are you, just a fucking idiot?
So as with grinding in any game, you immediately jump on the internet and try and find the most efficient method so you don't accidentally waste a ridiculous amount of time. Although I guess playing the game in the first place is a waste of time. Now luckily, as far as grinding in games goes, DMC2 has a fairly fast method. So you select mission 9, and once you get to this part with all the lava, you'll be met with endlessly respawning bats. These bats make absurd amounts of noise, as if somebody didn't realize that having 10 bats on screen overlaps the flapping noises by 10. What are they, fucking eagles? Why is it so loud? In Devil May Cry 2, the red orbs the enemies drop are worth more depending on how high your style meter is. One of the ways you can build up your style meter is by dodging enemy attacks, and when there are lots of bats on screen, you can dodge a lot of attacks at once. Once you max it out, pull out the submachine guns and... This method takes about 30 minutes, but I'm not complaining because it could have easily been much worse.
So as expected, you have to beat hard mode in order to unlock must die mode, which is the hardest difficulty. Problem is, there's 2 characters, meaning I'm gonna have to beat it twice. And considering literally nothing is different, I'm just gonna get these out of the way. I could feel my soul slipping out of me. Anyway, that's over with. Now on with Lucia Must Die mode.
Now for beating the game on hard, you unlock Trish as a playable character, but really she's just a reskin of Dante. She has exactly the same moves except her flying devil trigger attack is incredibly overpowered. Now the reason I didn't upgrade Lucia in the first playthrough was because I'm not going to use her at all anymore, and that's because Trish by default already has a fully upgraded arsenal. This makes upgrading Lucia pointless as I need the red orbs for the Bloody Palace, which we'll get to, trust me, we'll get to it. But I still need the achievement for upgrading Lucia, so load the game, upgrade Lucia, pop the trophy, and then quit without saving. And there you go, I have the trophy and it cost me nothing. This may seem smart to you, but trust me, when you 100% games, this shit becomes second nature. So about Lucia Must Die mode. I hate to tell you, but this game still requires no thought to play and is one of the least engaging games I've ever played, making it so fucking boring! Enemies can devil trigger now, but unlike DMC1, it doesn't matter. Every encounter in DMC1's Must Die mode was like a fucking war. There's nothing like this here, which I'm not sure if I should be grateful for or not.
After all, I'd rather a game be painfully hard than mind-numbingly easy. That is until you get to the fucking fish fight!
You see, with Trish, you don't have the cranky bomb, so what the fuck am I supposed to do here? Melee is useless underwater and you can't lock onto it, so shooting is a pain in the ass, and being underwater makes you want to throw up. There is no magical strategy with this one. You shoot in the direction of the boss hoping you hit it, and try and tank all the hits as best you can. This takes like 15 minutes and it will make you want to destroy the disc more than ever. If there was any part of me that wanted to keep playing, it died right here. The other frustrating part in this playthrough is the damn mask boss. The boss splits into 3 different masks that all have different attacks. Once he combines together again is when you should just unload into him. The problem is that it takes forever for the masks to combine and their attacks are incredibly annoying. The lightning mask pretty much hits you anywhere regardless. I still don't know how I'm supposed to dodge it, and the ice guy drops icicles that fuck up your lock-on. This is the boss fight though, where you learn just how powerful Trish's flying devil trigger is, as it'll melt this boss in about 2 tries. The rest of the game though is still an embarrassing mess, and by the end of it you still feel like a loser who wasted his time.
Now, I've beaten the game 4 times, both characters fully upgraded. Now the only thing left to do is the Bloody Palace. This was the first inclusion of the Bloody Palace in the series, and it's become quite notorious for being the worst fucking thing ever made. So what is it? It's basically a never-ending gauntlet where the game throws increasingly more difficult waves of enemies at you until you die. And some asshole put an achievement in there where you have to get to wave 9000. Now luckily you can go up the palace in 100s, meaning I'm only going to have to face like 90 waves of enemies. But unluckily, this still takes 5 fucking hours, with no saving. I have to play Devil May Cry 2 for 5 hours.
So before you even attempt this fucking thing, you're gonna want to buy every item you can carry. Full Devil Trigger refills, health refills, all of it. Now there are multiple strategies to the palace, but the one I use is by playing as Trish and going up in 100s from wave 10. This is because every 10th wave is a boss, and the bosses, believe it or not, are easier to deal with than the regular enemies. The palace is a test of endurance more than anything. Doesn't mean it won't kick your ass, but for the most time you'll just be jumping around and shooting. And for the love of God, reserve your items until you absolutely need them, as the later waves can get ridiculous. The adds in most boss fights are more dangerous than the boss itself, except sometimes you'll get the savage golems, which take 5 fucking years to kill, I'm not even joking. Whenever you get a boss like Infested Tank, as this guide says, if you need a strategy for this, you're retarded. You literally can just stand underneath it, so use it to build Devil Trigger and heal yourself. Other times you'll get bosses like the Despair Embodied. I can't even tell you what the strategy for this boss is. Just jump around, kill the flying goats, and pray you don't get hit.
By the end of it, you would have lost your thumb and your dignity, but at least you 100%ed Devil May Cry 2. Or you're like me and you die 3 hours in.
God! But I don't deserve it, God damn it! There is no atoning for what I've done. God!
Why? God, why? Why does this take 5 fucking hours? It wouldn't be that bad if the combat wasn't terrible. I don't even have a solid strategy for this. It's just jump and pray you don't get hit. Who would be stupid and crazy enough to go through with this? Oh yeah, I would. I can't say it's the worst thing I've ever done. I've done far more painful things, but I can say it's one of the worst games I've ever played. Horrible level design, non-existent story. I can't believe Capcom even released this. If this was any other series, it would have killed the whole thing right there. But it didn't. There's like 4 more to get through. But fuck that. I'd rather do anything right now than play another one. At least for right now. Just don't do it. Not even for a joke. You wanna know what it's like to 100% Devil May Cry 2? It fucking sucks!